Hey everybody, welcome back to Ain't Afraid of No Tech. Today we're going to go through the final step in setting up your profile on Discord, and that way we can start playing around with doing some actual communication. So today we're going to do the app settings. So again, we're just going to click down here on the gear icon on the bottom to get into user settings, and we're going to go through this set here, which is the app settings. Now, the most important thing we're going to need out of here is the voice and video. This is where we're going to tell it. What did I click? Anyways, this is where we tell Discord how to find our microphone and our camera if we want to do voice and video conversations. So it's pretty simple. If you're on a laptop, you can use your built-in microphone and webcam. If you're on a desktop computer or something like that, you may have to go out and buy something. Um, right now I'm using a basic microphone that came with a headset that I use for gaming. I am gonna upgrade this microphone because let's face it, it doesn't work all that well. Um, I mumble and it does not help that the microphone's not that good. So we will be upgrading that, but for now, I just want to make sure that I have that microphone selected. So I've actually got a couple choices for microphone because there's also microphones on the camera that I have plugged in. Um, but we're not going to use those ones. We want to use the one on the headset, which is the one I'm talking to you guys through now. Um, Also, you can choose your output device. Usually just leave that as your default speakers. If you have a headset plugged in, it should default to go through your headset. Otherwise, it'll play out through, in this case, through my TV or whatever sound devices I have hooked up. You can adjust the volumes here. This will adjust the global volume in anything we do in these settings here is a global setting. It will change it across all of your servers everywhere on Discord. There are options to do all of this in individual servers as well. You can adjust the settings there, but the as far as setting up your microphone and your camera, you can only do that here. So we select the microphone, we select our output. If you want to test it, you click this list let's check thing, and then you just talk for a little bit and you can hear yourself. You're going to get a bad echo. It's very confusing. You just want to make sure that that stays within the green area. If it's down in the yellow, your volume is too low. You'll want to increase this slider, move it more towards, not too low. You want to move it more towards the left. Hold on. Let's see. We're going to echo for a little while here. Okay, let's see. That's lower. That's higher. Okay, hold on. Oh, input volume. So if you're way down in the yellow, it must be getting a reading because these are not changing anything. Oh, there it goes. So if you're way down in the yellow, I'll have to whisper. You can increase it. And if you're way up in the yellow, shut up. If you're way down in the yellow, you can increase this. If you're way up in the red, you can decrease it. That was horrible television right there. I'm sorry, folks. But anyways, that's how you adjust your volume. Like I said, just try to keep it in the grain. Discord is pretty good with its built-in codecs, which are the software that detects everything. It's pretty good about setting up your levels automatically. You really don't have to adjust much. The other thing to look at in your voice settings is you can have it constantly reading your voice, or you can set a key on your keyboard that you have to hold down in order to talk. So kind of like your walkie-talkies back when we were kids. You push the button down, it makes a beep sound, and then you're okay to talk. If you don't hear the beep, then no one's going to hear you talking. That comes in handy when you're on a server with a whole bunch of people trying to talk. That way you're not stepping all over each other. So you can turn that on and off that way. The other thing we want to look at in here is your video settings. Again, the same thing. If you're using your webcam or if you plug one in this case, I have a webcam plugged in here that I picked up for like $30 at what's that store called? Costco. Yeah, the warehouse store. Um, I have that plugged in right now. That's what we're using. You can test video and, oh, now how do you like that? So here it is, St. Patrick's Day. It's kind of cold out, so I invite this leprechaun to come in here and stay warm before he goes and plays with the kids. And here he is trying to steal my scotch and my chocolate. Really? Really, man? We're going to have a talk when I'm done with this. Anyways, silly leprechauns. The only other thing to play with is in your advanced settings, echo cancellation, noise reduction, automatic gain control. What these are is echo cancellation is obviously if you have an external mic with external speakers playing, you could pick up an echo of yourself, and we already demonstrated what that sounds like. So you can turn that on; it'll block that. Noise reduction blocks off your background noise, so if you're typing on your keyboard or clicking a mouse, something like that, it won't pick that up. It's not as likely to pick that up. And then automatic gain control. That's why I was having problems. Automatic gain control will automatically adjust so that you stay in this red bar. So now I bet you if I turn that off, yeah, see. Now I can, no, it's still, whatever. I'll show you how to adjust mic settings in another piece of software that I use called OBS later on, and that will make a lot more sense. But as you can see, Discord does a really good job of just automatically getting it set up. You're not going to need to play with that too much. The next thing to look at is text and images. This is this is global settings. You can also set this individually on server, but this is overall. So when you create your server, it'll default to these, and then you can adjust them later. But this is overall how text and images are displayed across Discord. Just read through. So this is displays images, videos, and lolcats. You don't need to know what lolcats are, but when they're posted as links, whether you want to display them or not, when they're uploaded directly, display them or not. So you can play through there, set it up however you want. Stickers, you can have them animate only when you click on them, always animated, never animated. Text to speech, if you are having a hard time hearing people, you can try using the playback of text to speech commands. This also allows you to speak into a microphone and it will text for you so you don't have to type if you're a slow typer. Just be aware that text to speech doesn't always. You've all received a text using it that you had to decipher because it doesn't always understand what you're saying, especially if you mumble like me. That's why it's turned off. And then text box is to preview everything as you type. So there is a setting up here where you can automatically convert your emoticons. So if you just type semicolon and a smiley face, it'll automatically put the emoticon. And this just puts it so that as you're typing, it will automatically show the emoticon or the syntax or whatever. And the only other option in there is spoiler content. So if you're on a Discord for a game or something like that, or you're discussing a movie, if somebody puts a spoiler, like they spoil the ending of the movie, they can have it grayed out, and then it'll only display when you click, or you can only show it on servers you moderate. You can adjust those settings. In appearance, there's some fun stuff you can do with appearance. You can customize just about everything on this, but there's some fun general stuff. So this is a preview of what your text is going to look like on your server. And then under theme, you can do either a dark theme or a light theme. As I've said before, I'm a migraine sufferer, and I use a big giant 60-inch TV as my screen for my computer. So I keep everything in dark mode because having that white glaring back at me just really sets my head off. But again, that's personal preference. Some people find it easier to read a light screen. So whatever you choose. Message display. So Cozy it's going to be laid out like this. It'll show the poster's image, their name, the date, and then the message. Compact shrinks it down. All you get is the date or the time, who posted it, no image to show you, and then what the image is. It's a lot easier when you're in a server where you have a lot of people talking, a lot of people posting stuff, to be able to have their pictures and automatically just go, okay, that's that, that's that, that's that. But if you want something, if you just want to read and not have all the pictures, or if you're on a slower system, then you could do that also. Um, and then also in accessibility, there's a couple of fun things you can do. Oh, it's not going to let me do the dark sidebar. So if I'm on a light setting, I can adjust it so that the left side of the screen stays dark. Everything on the sidebar will stay dark, and then your main screen is in white. That's something you can use if you have a hard time telling what's what on the window as you're starting off using it. Let's get back out of that because that is blinding me. And also, you can change your text size here. You can go all the way up to a 24-point text, and you can go all the way down to a 12-point text. So just adjust that slider until you find whatever font size works for you. And also, you can change the spacing between messages. You can have them so that they run straight into each other, or you can have a nice big gap in between them so you can tell when one message starts, when another one ends. That really comes in handy when you're in the compact. You can space them out, make it a little bit easier to tell when something ends. Because another thing, I had never noticed that until I just did that. I never played with it, but if apparently if a message takes up 2 lines of text when you're in compact mode, um, it will put it in 2 lines with all the presets. So there's no way to tell when one message ends and when another one begins if you don't upgrade that spacing. So that's something to keep in mind if you're playing around with that. Um, Reduced motion. So that's the amount of motion in animations and stuff like that. I've never really played with that. You can play with that on your own, see what it does. I always just leave it as sync with computer, but I mean, I guess you can enable it, and I'm not exactly sure what it does. So play around with it, set it, see if you like it. If not, turn it off. Uh, Developer mode, we're going to get into later. That is when we start inserting bots in here. Bots are little programs that automate certain tasks and kind of help moderate your channel and kick out people who aren't behaving properly. We'll get into setting all that up at a later time, and we'll come back and play with developer mode. Notifications is where you can set up how it notifies you when you get something. So desktop notifications, if you're on Windows or OS X, it'll pop up a little box down here every time somebody does something that requires a notification. That can get really annoying, especially if you're doing something away from Discord. So I always leave that off. The unread messages badge, what that means is that it'll pop up a little red dot next to a server if there's something in there that you have not read. And then the other useful thing is the inactive timeout. What that is if you're away from your computer for a specific amount of time, you can set this all the way down from 1 minute up to 10 minutes. So if you're, say you step away from your computer, you go to lunch and you forget to sign off of Discord, it will, after 10 minutes of no activity, after 10 minutes of you not touching your keyboard or your mouse or whatever, it will automatically put you into silent mode so that you're not still broadcasting whatever across your microphone to everybody on Discord, so that, you know, when your cat comes in and starts licking your microphone, we all don't have to listen to it. So that's a very handy thing to have. Hold on a sec, guys. Sorry, my allergies are still driving me bonkers, so I had to blow my nose there. Text-to-speech notifications. If you want to have a robot, this is for when you get a message, you can have a robot voice read it back to you. So if you have a hard time reading or you have poor vision, you can set that up for you and have the computer read all the messages to you. Otherwise, I don't know. I find it easier to just read it. I can usually pull syntax out a little easier that way. And then these are all the little notifications that it will play sound for. So if you start playing around and you notice that it plays a really annoying sound every time somebody does this or does that, here's where you come in and turn off those sounds. And if you should be able to, yeah. So you can get a preview of what the sounds sound like. You hover over it, this little speaker icon shows up. If you click on that, it'll play the sound. And then, so you guys can scroll through there, see what they all are, see what they sound like, and you can turn them on and off that way. The other thing to look at in here is the Keybinds menu. There are a bunch of hotkeys in here. You can download it, print it out on your own, and just kind of go through it. And all of these are just hotkeys. So if you want to edit a message, all you have to do is hit E, and it'll automatically bring up the edit message. You can delete it with backspace, etc., etc. Go ahead and read through these on your own. You don't have to use hotkeys, but things do work a lot. It does help with your workflow. It helps things move a lot smoother if you learn a couple of hotkeys. So just if there's something that you notice that you're doing quite often, and it takes like 4 or 5 menu clicks, just look through here and see if by chance there's a hotkey for it. And if there is, then that's great. All you have to do is just hit, Control Alt Up, and you can navigate back and forth between your servers instead of having to click on them, etc. You can also change your language in here. Obviously, for me, I speak English, so it defaults to English US. It's going to default to whatever country you're in. You can change it if you are preferring a different language. We're not going to go into streamer mode yet. We'll get into that later once we start streaming. The only other thing to go over today is the changelog. So anytime there's an update on Discord, they'll usually pop up a little a notification when you sign back in, letting you know that they had changed something. That's called the changelog. If you want to read that at any point and see what the latest changes are, just click changelog. It'll pop up a new window, and you can go through there and see all of the latest changes on the latest update. Just hit the X in the top corner to close it out. And that's it. Our app is now set up. In the next video, we are going to show you guys how to join somebody else's server, namely how to find mine, and maybe some other fun stuff. So, yeah, we'll start joining servers and start talking after that. Now everything's set up. So until then, well, I just watched a George Carlin skit the other day that I hadn't seen in forever, where he said not to use "have a nice day" because it puts all the pressure on you guys to go out and now try to have a good day. So instead of my normal "have a good day," I'm going to tell you, have a crappy day. Thank you, George Carlin, for that one. In the meantime, yeah, he's still drinking my scotch. I'm going to go kill this leprechaun. You guys have a crappy day. All right.